Everyone, this is day 2 of the Texas Auto Roundup. So this event is where a bunch of journalists, automotive journalists, get together. We test drive some cars and present the awards to that specific car and that manufacturer. Yeah, we're starting with day 2. Day 1, just to give you a quick recap, we really just kind of got our things together. We got some goodies from the different manufacturers that are here. So today is the first day of 2 days, or 1.5 really, that we're gonna test out some cars. I'm excited. We got some great cars to choose from, and we have a layout SCCA style track where we're gonna just take the car through its paces. Some of the more performance cars, obviously they have like minivans that I'm gonna be test driving if I have time.
Here's a quick rundown of the course layouts. We enter on the left to go down to the staging area. We then run course 1, which is the tighter of the 2 courses. We'll then end at the entrance of course 2. Course 2 starts with a slalom to see how the cars handle transferring their weight around, and end with long turns to load the suspension. We'll then head to the acceleration area where we'll put the pedal to the metal and then activate the ABS systems to come to a complete stop in the braking area. I wanted you guys to know we didn't have much time with each car since we had so many to go through. Think of it as if we were speed dating with cars, so the cars had to show us their best in a very short time. I had all my camera gear ready to film, but resorted to my iPhone since we were so pressed for time and was limited with what I was able to film. I wish I had some of the cars for longer time to bring you guys more in-depth and cinematic reviews.
Those were the cars, that's the layout. Again, thank you to WAG for sponsoring the event. Check them out on the link on the screen. I am excited to get in some cars, play around with them, and review them and provide an award. And yesterday we actually got a little sneak peek presentation of Eagle Canyon Raceway. They showed us some really cool things on how their 2.0 version of the track is gonna be. They're repaving the whole thing. They have I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with the layout, so I don't know if they're changing the layout, but it looks like they were. Excited for that, for a future event for the Texas Auto Roundup. But a lot of elevation changes, you know, a lot of cool layouts, a lot of cool turns that we saw in the presentation, so excited for that. Check them out. They should be a fun track to go visit. So excited. Now, first is off to breakfast, to typical day stuff, and we'll jump in the cars.
Here's a quick view of all the cars we had waiting for us in the parking lot. We were like kids in a candy shop. Of course, I jumped straight into the Jetta GLI to see if the new model was going to live up to the badge. I wanted to thank Becky from SouthwestLifestyleMedia.com for being my driving buddy and letting me film her driving the cars. I felt like the GLI lacked a little in the looks department, but was excellent in the performance side of things. What stood out was the fact that you can feel the differences between the performance modes. Normal relaxed the car for everyday driving, and Sport tightened everything up and made it easy for our track attacks. Even though there were some artificial noise coming into the car, it sounded great. Take a listen. That was the acceleration to braking. To sum it up, for the GLI, just think GTI with a trunk. Up next, we have the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. I was ready to see what the 505 horsepower twin turbo engine could do in the Alfa that had lightweight carbon fiber hood, roof, and rear spoiler. One of our favorite features of the Alfa was the massive column-mounted shift paddles that made it easy for us to shift no matter where our hands were on the wheel. We felt the Alfa was the sedan that offered a great overall performance package. Time to put it in race mode and see what it's got.
So basically you turn it and you push this button and then...
Oh, it's got like a little lock.
Yeah.
That's pretty fast. That was fast.
Yeah, I was trying to not go crazy, but yeah, it'll let you launch in a second.
I've never been more excited to test drive a Kia. The Telluride surprised me when I came across a YouTube ad for one and couldn't believe it wore the Kia badge up front. Let's put that past us and you'll see that this has to be the bargain of the century. With an as-tested price of only $45,000, I was shocked at everything that came with it. The dark moss color really shined when the sun hit it and you were able to see the amazing green highlights. The interior was just as stunning, with the wood trim adding a change in texture to the dashboard. The 8 seating locations all were spacious and the seats offered USB charging connections on them and a wireless charger in the front. Seeing the Harman Kardon system made me excited to hear how they sound. Now this next feature had me feeling real cool. The Telluride had butt coolers and they worked extremely well. The technology continued with driving modes like Eco, Comfort, Sport, and even Snow. This Kia had more cameras than a 7-Eleven gas station. So with the camera you can change your view. So that's the front camera, that is the top front camera, that is the tire?
Side view? Yeah.
Side view? Oh, from the side view mirrors. Okay, we just figured out that's the right side and that's the left side. It split through there. It just looked like this was a reflection of that because the paint is pretty clean. The blind spot cameras also showed on the gauge clusters when you turned on the signal in either direction. Not sure if you guys can see it, but right there is the speedometer. There's a little heads-up display. Pretty cool. Driver Talk allows you to speak using the Bluetooth microphone and it plays in the speakers in the back seat. This allows you to keep your eyes on the road and your passengers are able to hear you. The ride in the Telluride felt incredible and I'll be considering it as a future personal vehicle. The price of the next vehicle might be surprising. At a whopping $138,000, the Mercedes E63 S Wagon is the car you get when you needed to sell your sports car because now you have to haul your mini-me's but need to get to the supermarket in record time. The model we tested was dressed with carbon fiber bits on the outside and the inside. The seats looked incredible both in the front and in the back. They weren't big boy friendly, so it looks like I'll need to work on that if I were to ever have this in my budget. My favorite part of the wagon, that sound. Let's get launch control going and take a listen.
So I put it in track, or do I?
You put it into track mode.
Okay.
Or you can put it in Sport Plus and it'll switch for you.
Okay. Whatever.
Let's do that.
Sport Plus?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Alright. Hold the paddles. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Hold the brake with your left foot. As you're doing that, you're going to accelerate all the way.
Okay, my hands are off the paddle shifters now?
Yep.
At just shy of 800 horsepower, the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat Red-Eye was up next. This one was hard to get a hold of since the other journalists seemed to want to take it out for a drive. This Red-Eye is the definition of modern muscle. It housed technology that helped all that power be extremely controlled. On the normal streets, the car felt extremely comfortable and easy to drive on the road. Just beware that you'll have others want to challenge you on the street, as we encountered from another lower trim Challenger. I did behave though. The Red-Eye's massive brakes, suspension setup, and electronics made for a surprisingly nimble car that on paper should not be. We had Brian Whitehead coaching us in the turns to get the most out of the Red-Eye.
Elias, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Give me some gas. Let's go. Good. Brake hard. Good. Off the brake. Turn it. No gas. Now gas. Straight line. Off the gas. Brake hard. Off the gas. Turn it. No gas. No gas. No gas. No gas. Feed it. Feed it. Feed it. Good. Brake hard. Off the brake. Turn it in. Tight. 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 Right. Back. Easy. Nice. Feed it in. Brake hard. Good. Off the brake. Turn it in. No gas. Now gas. Off the gas. No gas. Turn it in. Tight. 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 Back on the gas. Now straight line. Brake hard. Brake hard. Good. 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 Nice work.
Thanks.
That felt good. Good. Off the gas. No gas. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. Turn it. No brake. No brake. Back on the gas. And brake. Good. Off the brake. Turn it in. Feed it. Nice and easy. Good. 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 Keep it straight. Keep it straight. Brake hard. Off the brake. Turn it. No gas. No gas. Now start feeding it in. Let's go. Brake hard. Good. Off the brake. Turn it in. Look ahead. Look at your apex here. No gas. Let it come in. Back on the gas now. Brake hard. Good. Off the brake. Turn it in and brake hard. Nice. Good work. Good work. Ready?
Yeah.
Go. Good. 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 And off the brake. Nice.
I was having way too much fun in the MX5 Miata that I forgot to film more than a couple of clips. It was such a fun little car to drive on the test courses. Even though it didn't pack the power of the other cars, it was the epitome of driving a slow car fast is funner than driving a fast car fast. I almost overlooked the Infiniti Q60 Red Sport, and I'm glad that I did it. The exterior carbon bits were nice accents to the Infiniti. Even though the white color of the interior wouldn't be my first choice, it was extremely comfortable and sporty at the same time. The engine's performance was shocking as it felt as responsive as the Maserati's naturally aspirated engine, but felt way faster. My only complaint was the slight understeer during the courses, which feel like can be remedied by stickier tires. On the last day of the event, everyone rushed to drive the other popular cars that were hard to get a hold of. I decided to jump into the Lexus ES350 F Sport, and I was immediately sold on it. When I opened the door, I was greeted with a beautiful red leather on the door, and then it transferred to the sporty seats that are comfortable enough for a cross-country road trip. One of my favorite things of the interior was the pad used to navigate, the butt coolers, the starting sequence on the screen, and the moving meter. Even though I'm an Audi fan, this car makes me really rethink my choice. Last on the list was the Alfa Romero Stelvio Quadrifoglio. This was virtually a lifted Giulia with all the performance and more space. I would almost say it's worth the extra $5,000 or so to go this route over the Giulia. Here are some interior shots. Overall, I had a great time testing out some incredible cars, and congrats to all the winners, which I've included in the video description. We hope to bring you more in-depth car reviews in the future.